Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, so we're just gonna dive right in. I'm going to be testing out the new Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Foundation. If you guys have been watching me for a little while, you know that the Conceal and Define Foundation is probably one of my favorite foundations ever. It is literally so good. So full coverage, so lightweight, lasts all day. It is absolutely amazing. So when I heard they were coming out with the Conceal and Hydrate, which to me, obviously, it says it here, Radiance Foundation, it's more luminous and hydrating version of this original foundation. So I was very intrigued to give it a try. So that is what we're gonna be doing today. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to kind of put this to the test compared to the original. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to have the original on this side of my face, and then I'm gonna do the Conceal and Hydrate on the other side, and then I'm gonna do like a wear test throughout the day to see the difference in the wear time, see the difference in how it lays on the skin, and just how it performs compared to this, and then give you kind of my final thought, first impression on how I feel about this in general, as well as compared to the original. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's just get started. Obviously my eyes are already done. I'm actually filming this tutorial on this eye look. Yeah, sorry if you can hear Lily. She's back there and she's being crazy. So I'm filming the tutorial on this eye look as well, so that's why it's already done. The tutorial on this look will be up after this video. So check back. Make sure you subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can see how I got this eye look, which isn't finished yet, but it will be, and you'll see kind of how it looks when it's all done. So I'm usually at F7 in this foundation. My Ulta, I guess they're like slowly getting it in. They didn't have any colors. They also didn't have it out yet, but it said on the website like it was available in store already. So when I went in, I was like, hey, I want to get that. And they're like, oh, well, you know, I think we're putting it out next week or in a couple days. But she was like, but I guess I can sell it. It was weird. She seemed like she didn't want to sell it to me. Like, I told her about what shades I can usually get away with, usually like between a F5 to a F8 I can usually wear. And then she like went in the back for like 20 minutes and she came out and she's like, well, we only have a couple colors. And I'm like, girl, just give me some colors. Like, I don't know why you don't want to sell this to me, especially when you just told me you can sell it. Like, it was the weirdest thing anywhere. I usually have a great time at Ulta, but she was just really strange. So I ended up having to buy F4 and F10 because, like I said, they didn't have the middle colors yet. And this is all they had. It was like this, F10 and F12 is all they had in stock so far. So I was like, you know what? I'll just mix and work with it. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try and hope that these will match. I'm going to put F7, obviously, in the Conceal Define on this side. And then for the Conceal and Hydrate, I'm going to mix these two and hope that it works. And I hope they'll match each side. I mean, if they don't match, it's fine because I'm not like gonna go anywhere. I'm just gonna be home all day. So it doesn't really matter. All that really matters is that you see how it wears. So if they're not exactly perfect, I'm sorry, but doing the best I can with what I got here. I did not get the concealer because they didn't have it yet. And I watched Make Me Up Missa. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. Highly recommend you go check her out. And she didn't really seem to like the concealer. It seemed to like do this weird stuff to her face and make her skin look weird. So I'm not like hyped up to try it either. I have some concealers I really like, so I wasn't really in the mood to even try it anyway. I may eventually, but it's not like high up on my priority list. So I'm actually gonna start out with the original on this side. My skin is already prepped with my Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream. That's all I use to prime. I don't use primer. And I'm gonna do my whole routine as I normally would. So I'm gonna use like my other favorite products that I always use so I can give this foundation like the fairest shot. I'm not gonna use anything else like new with it. All right, so I just kind of wipe this all around. It's not necessarily that I use a lot. I just take whatever's on the applicator and really wipe it in everywhere. And then I'm gonna use my little Morphe brush. I'm gonna use the same kind of brush for both sides so I can really see how it works with like the same kind of tool. This is the JH03 foundation brush. So just like a big, thick style foundation brush that gives a really nice full coverage. I'm actually gonna clip my hair back really quick so it's not in the way. So as you can see with the original, I get like insane full coverage, more of a matte finish. But the original is definitely not like overly drying matte, you know what I'm saying? Like, it still looks like skin. There's still like the tiniest bit of sheen, but it does get mostly matte without being too dry. So I do like that the new one has pumps. That's pretty cool. So like I said, I'm gonna mix these two together and hope for the best. I'm just gonna do like a pump of each, I guess. So on this side, I'm gonna use a different brush, but the same style of brush. This is a Morphe M439. Sorry if you can hear toys. Okay, this is definitely gonna be a little darker than the other side, but I think I can, it'll work. See, it's fine. Okay. So this is definitely full coverage. Just like the original one. Like, wow. Oh my God. It might honestly actually be more full coverage than the original one, just looking at it. So it is just like a tiny bit darker than this side, but again, it's fine, it'll work. So I definitely, like, first thought putting this on, it's definitely more coverage than the original one, for sure. It is, yeah, definitely more coverage. In comparing the texture, you can see, I think, that this is definitely way more shiny and kind of glossy looking than the original one. Like I said, the original one's kind of matte, but it still has like the tiniest bit of glow, but this definitely has a lot more glow. And I can feel the texture difference in this one being, it's almost like thicker, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's definitely thicker than the original. The original is, it's crazy, and one of the reasons I really love it is that you get the really good coverage, but it's so thin. The texture of it's so thin. This is definitely a little bit thicker than the original, but again, not too bad. It blended in really well, just as well as the original does. Yeah, I think it looks good so far. I have a lot of texture and big pores around my nose. This doesn't make it worse, doesn't make it better, but it doesn't make it worse than like any other foundation would. It looks totally fine in those pores, as well as in like the fine lines I have in my forehead. So yeah, overall, I mean, it looks nice. And like I said, it is more glowy than this one. It's not as glowy as I thought it would be. Like, I thought it'd be a little more luminous, but I don't know. So let me just kind of finish and do my normal routine. So for my concealer, I'm gonna use my e.l.f. concealer. This is one of my favorite concealers. This is the 16-hour Camo concealer. And I'm gonna use this under my eyes to highlight and conceal my under eye area. And then I'm also going to put it down the center of my face to highlight. To blend this in, I'm gonna use a beauty blender. And then to set everywhere I highlighted, I'm gonna use my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder, which is my absolute favorite setting powder. And as always, I set like right under my eye, and then I take the excess powder and I just sort of dab it down. So I don't like heavily powder like over here. Okay, so now I'm fully powdered. I'm looking a little pale, but I am gonna go in with some bronzer and blush and all that good stuff. But just sort of taking a moment here to look at it now that I've powdered. Again, both sides kind of look the same. I don't really notice much difference between the two after they're powdered. They both look really full coverage, pretty smooth as they can look on my skin, which has a lot of texture. So just like with this eye look, I am gonna finish up like my bronzer, blush, and highlight and that's gonna be in like my next video. So if you wanna see what I use on my skin, I'll put that in the next video, so keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna go put all the rest of the stuff on really quick, and then we're gonna come back, and then we will go throughout the day and do like a wear test, and I'll check in to show you how everything is holding up. Okay guys, so here is the face makeup fully put on. Obviously I put on all my other products and I finished my eyes. And so again, as far as I can tell so far, I'm not really noticing a difference between either side. In the end, once you put on all the makeup, they look exactly the same to me. All the products blended well, the same on either side, so I didn't have any trouble on this side compared to the one I usually use that I really like. So I haven't noticed a difference yet. So I'm gonna go throughout the day and just let this kind of wear and see again if there's a difference between each side. So right now it is almost 12 o'clock. It's 11:47. So I'm gonna try to keep this on for 8 hours, so until 8 o'clock tonight. Hopefully, I might actually be able to get it a little later. My last makeup tutorial I did with the ABH foundation wear test, if you watch that, I was like a zombie by the time I filmed like the last part, and it was only like 10:30. I can't stay up late anymore. It's insane. I'm such an old person. But I am gonna put this on at least 8 hours. I'm gonna leave this on. So I will come back probably in like 4 hours to do like a halfway there kind of check-in. And then I'm gonna do another check-in late at night before I take it off to give you sort of like the final look and my final thoughts. So yeah, let's just get to our first check-in. All right guys, so here we are at the final check-in. Hair is up, hoops are on, and we're ready for business. I did forget to film a 4-hour check-in. I am so sorry. But if you can hear Lily crying in the background, she's really emotional right now because she is like teething and she's got like 3 molars coming in and she's crazy. So I did not get a chance to film a halfway point, but that's okay. We're still gonna see how we're doing here at the end of the day. So I've had this on for 8 hours. And now I'm gonna zoom in really quick so you can see how everything is laying at this point in the day. Okay, so my lip has worn off, do not mind that. But here we have the foundation. So again, I'm comparing original to the Radiant one. And when comparing both, this is crazy. The Radiant one is less oily than the matte one, which is super weird. I don't know if you guys can tell. Like, see how oily my chin is here, next to my nose right here in this area. It got way more oily and broke apart. And I still love that foundation. I mean, like I said, it's one of my favorites, but it definitely broke apart. It's worn down just a little over here. And then I don't know if you can tell, it's worn down a little. How long has that bristle been there? It's worn down a little around my forehead as well over here. But comparing that to the new one, like, look how much more matte the Radiant one is. Like, look at the difference in this side of my chin and this side of my chin. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that. See how oily it is right there? And then it's like not over here. It's the funniest thing. It's less oily around my T-zone than the matte version. And it hasn't come off at all around my forehead compared to the matte version. And it's also fully like on my chin, whereas it's worn down a little bit here. So I'm actually like extremely surprised that it seems more oil controlling and longer wearing, the Radiant one, compared to the matte one. So weird. So overall, I really like the way the foundation looks a lot throughout the day. As you can see, it held up so well, even better than this one, which I really love. It held up amazing, stayed really matte, stayed really full coverage, didn't wear off in those areas where I tend to get the foundation wearing down, and it looks great. I think once it finally like fully comes out at the Ulta near me, I'll need to get like my actual color so I don't have to just like mix and wish for the best. I'll probably get like an F7, but this looks amazing. Like, it looks really good. And actually, to be honest with you, with how full coverage it is, obviously how long wearing it is, and how well it's held up on my face, like this could be for me like a kit foundation, truthfully, because I always use the same one. But this looks so good at this point and it's held up so well that, you know, it could be just one of those things where, like, say I want a more radiant foundation in my kit and I want something a little less expensive, like, I might think about trying this out. I'm gonna try wearing it, obviously, a couple more times before I made that kind of decision, but it looks really, really good. I mean, comparing this to my last foundation review I did of the ABH foundation, this even held up better than that ABH foundation, which I really liked. Like, I'm so surprised. And I think the biggest thing is that the coverage is still like so nice and full coverage, but my face doesn't feel heavy and I'm not shiny. And it's a radiant foundation. It doesn't make sense because when you put it on, it feels nice and hydrating. It felt very comfortable, but yet it still stayed really nice and matte and didn't let the oil come through all day long, which is just crazy to me. So I give this foundation 2 thumbs up. Highly, highly recommend this. If you're looking for something new and more on like the full coverage side and want something that doesn't feel too drying or doesn't feel cakey, doesn't feel heavy, I think this would be like a super great option. I can't wait, like I said, until they get all the colors so I can actually find a better color for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, found this helpful. Again, this eye look and the rest of the face makeup, I will have that in my next video. So please stay tuned for that. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.